So it's been a while since I've actually done a legitimate video, and been quite a bit since I've done one on Guild Wars 2. I did take a little bit of a break from the game for a couple weeks to play Final Fantasy 14, and I have to admit the end game in that game fucking sucks. It's a really awful end game. And I might make a video on that. I really don't like it because there's literally no variety in that game at all. Like, it's just like dungeons and raids, and that's basically it. Where Guild Wars 2, you have so many options. Even though pretty much all I do are meta events and world bosses, at least I have more choices if I ever want to mix stuff up. But that's what I've been doing. It's been 3 weeks since my last upload. I did upload like a little funny Microsoft Flight Simulator clip the other day, but um, yeah. So something that I've been loving recently is the Revenant class. I bought a level 80 booster, dude. I think it was probably like 5 or 6 days ago by now, and I think I have 18 hours on this character, and holy shit, it's fun. The Revenant is a lot of fun. It's a really tanky class, which I personally really enjoy. It's basically, as long as you play it, right, it's very, very hard for you to die. Obviously, you can die to some mechanics, so you're going to have to watch out for it, just like you can with the quote-unquote unkillable necromancer. Like, there's some mechanics that you're just going to get fucked by, and you have to kind of watch out for in some fights, but for the most part, this can survive a lot of things, and it's a very, very durable, great build. And yeah, so what I personally love about the Necromancer is that it's a pretty simple class, but it has a bit of depth there as well. So you have your little abilities up here, which this is a part of the Revenant. Usually you only get like one ability here. Of course, you have your uh, utility, healing, and elite skills, but what's really unique about these is that these are actually tied to your stance that you have equipped. You have two stances equipped. Whenever you switch one, the other one's on a 10-second cooldown, and these skills are completely different. Your weapon skills stay the same, but your utility skills and all that on the right side here are completely different, a completely different playstyle. In total, there is 4 core stances, and then you have the elite specializations, which unlock the Renegade stance, and then if you have Herald selected, it'll replace the Herald of Renegade. But yeah, and each one of them have their own kind of defined playstyle. The Dwarf is kind of a damage tank combo. This is just from my understanding. Demon's kind of, dude, I don't even know what the demon is, to be honest with you. I think the demon's like sort of condition? Dude, I don't even fucking know. I'm gonna be honest. Um, but the Centaur, this is a pretty healy defensive sort of spec. It seems to be a little more supporty, or stance rather. And then the Assassin stance, which is really focused around kind of, I think, buffing you or empowering you with stuff. I'm not even sure, to be honest with you. I do really like this one right here, though. Basically to improve your attack speed and shit like that, and your movement speed and all that, which is really, really cool for DPS purposes. But in total, I basically always run the Dwarf and the Renegade. I'll talk about that in a little bit. And I really want to get into getting Herald. And I just obviously need to go and do that myself. And I'm thinking about running a sword and a shield and doing like a power build. I think that'd be fun. I always love doing a sword and a shield. Um, but yeah, build I have Retribution, Devastation, and Renegade. I'm going with Retribution because of its defensive capabilities. And so basically, as you can see, reduce damage dealt to you from foes beyond the range threshold. So anyone above 360 meters are going to be doing 10% less damage to you. Or 360. I'm not even sure if that's meters or not. I don't know. Increased endurance recovery, which is cool. Vigor once, evading an attack. Retaliation after you dodge, which is cool. You have heal for every second of upkeep, which you have a bit of upkeep. And you have take reduced damage while you have vigor, which you get from, evading attacks and stuff like that. So if you can evade an attack, you can do that. Um, Actually, you know what? I think I'm gonna go with this. Gain protection while you're disabled. That's a good one, actually. I don't really know. No, I'll do this. I'll do this. Anyway, we have devastation here, which is also amazing for its defensive capabilities. But in this time, instead of being more defensive, it's actually more healy, but it is defensive at the same time. Your first attack when entering combat applies vulnerability, which is nice. And it's also refreshed whenever you use an elite skill, which is cool. Siphon health after using your healing skill. That's really nice. Gives you battle scars. Your next attack steals health for 10 seconds. Your damage is increased for each weapon you are currently wielding, so this is really good for dual wielding. Gain stacks of battle scars while in combat. This is the thing that's absolutely amazing. So you're essentially always siphoning health from enemies, sort of how blood magic is on a necromancer, which is amazing, by the way. You have so much healing potential on the Revenant. That's why it's so hard to kill. That it's a heavy armor class. You can have a ton of health, ton of toughness. Um, that's what makes this class such a reckon or such a hard to kill class in PvE. And then, of course, you have applying vulnerability to foes, grant stack of battle scars, which, if you remember, our opening attack will do that, and also our elite skill or fresh stat. And the healing from battle scars are also going to be increased when we're below 50%. Our healing gets increased by 100%. That is crazy. Our healing goes way, way up, and that also is what makes it insane. I highly recommend running Devastation because it really just makes you unkillable. It's amazing. Renegade. So I have middle, middle, middle here. So we have Fury increases the duration of the bleeds you inflict, and gaining Fury inspires you with Kala's Fervor. I don't even know what the fuck that is, to be honest with you. And this is really cool. Whenever you get a critical strike or attack your enemies from behind on their flanks, you'll inspire yourself with the ferv. I don't even know what the fuck that is, man. Um, this is cool. Your short bow skills will now pierce, bleeding you inflict, deals more damage. A thing that I like is being able to do more damage with the bleeding because the bleeding is really heavily around the short bow here. And then we have lasting legacy, where the fucking shit you last longer and is more potent, which is cool. Um, and yeah, it's a pretty cool, awesome tree. The main reason why I like it is a short bow, to be honest with you. And the fact that it gives you Citadel Bombardment. This is such a cool ass fucking ability. I really, really like this one. Um, but yeah, you also have this one here, which will refresh the duration on that thingamajig, which is cool. So whenever you get a critical strike, you get that. And this is pretty cool. This will also, um, it'll give you a alacrity? Yeah, alacrity. So your 25% skill charge rate for looks like 1.5 seconds. Yeah, 1.5 seconds. I thought that was 11.5 seconds. So uh, yeah, you just renew your abilities and shit like that, which is cool. Um, and yeah, so that's my build there. Oh yeah, I forgot. We are running Dire with Superior Rune of the Undead. Rune of the Undead gives us toughness and condition damage, basically, and it will also convert 7% of our toughness into condition damage, which is cool. And then Dire's toughness, vitality, and condition damage. This is purely for defensive capabilities. We have 1,869 toughness, 22,000 health, as you can see, which is a damn good amount. Our critical chance is surprisingly 43%, um, which is pretty incredible if you think about it, because we're running a condition build with really no precision at all besides this. But that's just the short bow. If you take that off, it'll go down to 38, which is still pretty impressive for not really having any precision on anything. Um, so yeah, I think it's something to do with the build. But yeah, it's pretty awesome. So we get that little ability thing a lot. So uh, condition build, we have this. I mainly use the short bow. I don't ever really use this right here. I just kind of have that because it's set to do that on the meta battle. But I pretty much always use the short bow. And yeah, so basically what I do is I just kind of open up combat with Ice Razor's Ire or whatever this is. So it's basically like a quick bombardment of damage on an enemy. Just a ton of damage and a pretty massive AoE. I mean, look at that. That's a nice AoE there. And then we have this right here, which is kind of cool. I mainly use this as a stun break, but I don't know. You could kind of use it if you want. Um, then we have this here, which is cool as well, because this will also enhance the attacks of your allies, so which is really cool. And what's really cool about this is that I think this actually basically makes you do more bleeding, I'm pretty sure, or makes your allies able to do more bleeding. I'm not entirely sure if this makes you do more bleeding, um, but yeah. This is also a really awesome healing ability because it's essentially like a well, kind of. So you lay this down, you get initial healing, and then you get pulsing healing over 10 pulses. So, 10 times 369, that's like over 3,000. And then, or am I being an idiot, right? Yeah. And then, essentially you're getting like 8 or 9,000, I think, total healing. I don't really feel like doing the math in my head right now. Yeah, yeah. Almost 8,000, I think, healing. And yeah, just from this alone, which is cool. The elite skill is pretty cool as well because it will basically siphon health to me, which is cool as well. So if I need a little more survivability, there I go. And then once I have all these abilities expended and then, my bar is pretty low and there's not a whole lot recovering from it, I go and switch to Dwarf Stance. I pop the Elite here, which basically for 5 seconds is a 50% damage reduction, which is cool. And, I usually pop this as well. And yeah, and then once the 10 seconds runs out, I go right back to Renegade and do the same kind of rotation. For my weapons, I just kind of, spam the auto attack and then use the 3 and the 2 and then 4 for AoE purposes. And I'll actually, I'll do the 4 anyway because it does a lot of burning damage. I don't ever really use this too much. I guess this is good for knocking people down, but I kind of find this to be sort of useless in comparison to these skills. But anyway, yeah, so I'll go ahead and show you that in action now. We'll just go and do this. I don't think this guy ever... Oh, what the fuck? Oh, did I not? I put on a combat golem. I didn't realize that. Okay, I guess we'll deal with it anyway. I didn't realize I did that. I mean, you look at that kind of healing we're getting going on right now. And, for a build that doesn't have a lot of, is more focused around defensive, sustained than, big, bursty damage to it, it's still doing quite a bit of damage, in fact. Just quite nice. I can see our burn damage or our bleeding is going up significantly over time, which is a very, very nice trait. So we'll wait for that. Boom, we'll pop this. Look how cool this is. It pops up a bunch of sort of arrows from the mist, which is really, really cool. And that's really cool. That's a nice AoE there that does burning on enemies. That's just an overall really nice. I got a stun break right there, even though it really wasn't that much of a stun. I didn't really need a stun break out of that. I just wanted to show that anyway. We could just keep kind of rotating between this. It's a nice, fun little rotation. It's probably not the most optimal, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to pop the elite there too, why not? It's probably not the most optimal, but I find it to be a lot of fun, and that's what kind of matters to me, considering I'm doing open world content, and it doesn't really matter that much, considering there's so much people doing it. I don't know. It's still kind of nice to see that, and this guy knocks me down a lot, actually. Maybe I should be dodging more. I don't know. It's a lot of fun. I mean, you could just see, look at how much burn damage that does without me attacking it. Oh, shit. Well, actually, now the burning, or now the bleeding is fucked. So, yeah. Let's try doing that again, actually. Let's see here. I mean, look at that. Just from bleeding alone, we're getting a good amount of DPS on that bitch. But, yeah. It's a lot of fun. I really, really like the Revenant. It's a great open world class, very, very survivable, really good damage. And that's really all I want, to be honest with you. That's all I want in a class. I want a good amount of damage output, a fun playstyle, great survivability. That's all I really care for when it comes to these kind of classes. And I've tried every class in the game now, and this is probably the best one for me. Probably the one that fits me the most. The sword is incredibly fun. Dual swords. I have a soldier gear in here, as you can see, so if I ever want to switch it up, I'll switch it over and do the good old dual-wield swords and just go ape shit on people. That's a lot of fun to use as well. But this is my favorite build, personally. Doing that condition damage is actually really appealing to the eye, seeing that kind of slow burn of enemies. It's just really satisfying to see for me, just all these numbers popping up. It's very, very cool. But anyway, that's it. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. I've had a ton of fun with this class, and I highly recommend trying it out. I have experimented with other classes as well. I experimented a bit with the Guardian, which ended up being a lot of fun, but it just wasn't my forte, personally. The Warrior was... the mobility on it felt really trash. It didn't... I don't know. In the ranged weapon sucks on it. Overall, the Warrior is... it's okay. I'm not a huge fan of it. Then I tried out... the good old... I mean, I had my Ranger for a while, but the Ranger feels a little squishy to me. I'm not a fan of it. It doesn't have that kind of survivability that I would like with Soul Beast, at least, because the Bear Bow is really fucking boring. I don't really feel like running Bear Bow. That's just boring as shit. But I guess it's cool for people who want, are fan of, like hunters in World of Warcraft, I guess. Uh, but yeah, that's gonna be it. If you guys enjoyed this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, whatever you do to support your channel is greatly appreciated. And see you guys in another 3 weeks.